Good evening. The following is a live broadcast for the City of Kingsport Board of Mayor and Alderman. Board meetings are regularly scheduled on the first and third Tuesdays of each month at 7 p.m. In advance of the BMA meeting, a copy of the agenda is available for inspection at the Kingsport Public Library, City Hall, or online at kingsporttn.gov.
Good evening. Welcome to the Kingsport Board of Mayor and Alderman business meeting. Today is Tuesday, April 19th, 2022. The first order of business will be the Pledge of Allegiance led by the New Vision Youth. The leader of the group is Ms. Johnny Mae Swaggerty. Appreciate you coming, Ms. Johnny Mae. And they'll be followed by the invocation by Pastor Adam Love from the Mayfair United Methodist Church. So please remain standing. Thank you. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
God of us all, we're thankful for a beautiful and thriving community. We're thankful for leaders who place the common good above agenda. We're thankful for stewardship and the legacy of those upon whose shoulders we stand. Remind us that your grace invites and makes it possible for us to live responsible lives, and that your judgment will start with those who've chosen to lead. So impress upon us your true faith, loving the widow and the orphan and the aged, seeing those who others don't or cannot see, lifting those who have fallen down, and providing a path forward for all of us to live as brothers and sisters. Help us to reject the politics of schism and polarity and embrace your vision where heaven meets earth. We say this in the name of your glorious Son, who was resurrected from the grave, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. Thank you, Pastor. Please be seated. And Johnny Mae, thank you for your continuing leadership. Madam Recorder, please call the roll.
Mayor Scholl.
Here.
Vice Mayor George.
Here.
Alderman Cooper.
Here.
Alderman Duncan.
Here.
Alderman Montgomery.
Here.
Alderman Alterman.
Here.
Alderman Phillips.
Here.
Thank you. By my reckoning, all 7 elected members are present. Mr. City Manager.
All right, we have 3 recognitions or presentations on the agenda tonight. We'll begin with Mayor Shaw and recognizing the Dobbins-Bennett wrestling team.
Or as they say in the newspaper, grapplers. Wes, can you come on up? Coach Wes Seidelet. Wes, the first thing we'll do is I'll slide away from the podium for a second and let you introduce the wrestlers who are here by name.
We have several of our wrestlers here. First off, thank you all for allowing us to be here. It's a great celebration. We definitely want to make this a tradition of celebrating the success of our program, but we have several that are here, several that couldn't make it with extracurricular activities that they're involved in and previous engagements, but we have several that we'd like to bring up to here. We'll start right here with Cannon Mullins. Come on up. Aseka Capimo. Aiden Roten. Shania Bond. Bailey Whitley. Olivia Ryan. Bryce Pulitzer. Judah Moore. Garrett Crowder. Jake Dempsey. Robbie Irvin. Chris Harris. Gavin Armstrong. And Johnson Zong. And Nicholas Burke.
Okay, Cass, now you gotta let me in. Okay, we got all the team that is present here. Let me talk about some of your accomplishments, Coach. You were named the Region 1 Coach of the Year. The Region 1 Wrestler of the Year was Max Norman. Max, raise your hand. You're not here. Oh, he's out wrestling. Okay, your dual meet record was 20-3. That's outstanding. You're the District 1 and Region 1 champions, the sectional dual champions, the sectional runner-up in the individual tournament, the semifinalist at the state duals tournament. Max Norman was a state champion. Garrett Crowder was a third place, and Olivia Ryan was a sixth place. And I got a special note here, Olivia. It says that you're the first female Dobbins-Bennett wrestler to compete in the state tournament, as well as our first female place winner. Congratulations. Okay, well, Coach, look, this accomplishment is just truly outstanding. And, you know, people tell me a lot of things. Some of it I can't say in front of children, and you know, but what I hear about you is always positive. You're not only good at what you do in terms of the wrestling team, but you're a great role model for these young men and women, and I appreciate that. And I want to give you something that not many people have, and that's a mayor's coin. So thank you very much. And look, don't tell Ryan Wagner and Coach Christian. You know what I mean, Coach Moore? They'll earn theirs in time. But thank you very much. We appreciate it. All right. Okay, guys, good job. Coach Moore, come on up. Let's go through you pointing out your team, the ones that are here. I guess Jack's playing baseball, isn't he?
We got baseball, volleyball. We've got them all. So
Okay.
We don't have any representatives.
All righty. You got none of them here?
Just Mark Cox, our DOBO, Director of Basketball Operations.
Mark, thank you for coming. Well,
He
look.
wouldn't miss a celebration for anything.
Thank you, Mark. Look, the team, of course, starts their season in the fall and goes on into the winter. So it's the 2021-2022 Dobbins-Bennett team, which finished with an overall record of 32-6, 8-0 in the conference. That's outstanding. Eat your heart out, Science Hill. They were conference champions, region champions, state champions. The all-conference was Jack Browder, Malachi Hale, Brady Stump, Jonathan Gillespie, and Carter Metz. All-district was Malachi Hale, Jonathan Gillespie, and Jack Browder. All-region, Malachi, Jonathan, and Jack. And the Northeast Tennessee team, all Northeast Tennessee, Jack, Malachi, and Jonathan. And the all-state tournament team, Jack, Malachi, Jonathan, and Brady. Brady had a real outstanding game in there. Well, listen, I already gave this guy a coin, and he really deserves it because, like Coach Adlett, he's a great example for young men. And before I make a special announcement, let me ask my friend Tommy Alderman. Tommy was a year ahead of me in school, and he was a great athlete. He really was. And my athletic accomplishment was simply not tripping him in the hallway so he'd be injured. And Tommy, would you like to say a couple things?
Well, yes, but I think you've read all the accomplishments that I was going to give out. Yeah. So with that, I'll tell them a little story about me and my basketball career. I played for Coach Van Huss, and I'm sure everybody knows him by now. Well, anyway, we were playing Central that night, and I'd just gotten out of football. So he began to get nervous up there, and he started looking up and down the bench to see who he was going to put in. So finally he hollered at me. And I said, Lord, what does he want with me? I don't even know the first play from the last play. Well, anyway, he put me in. He said, you're going to guard Moody. I said, Coach, do you realize that he's all state and he's all world as far as I'm concerned? He said, well, we need somebody to rough him up just a little bit. So, of course, I just come out of football, and I remember catching the ball out front of the key, and I remember just dribbling it, just got that ball right in front of me, and I'm just paddling it. So next thing I know, he steals it, and here we both go. And the last I remember, he landed about 4 rows up. And then Coach Van Huss, he called me back over there. He called timeout right after I'd unfouled him. He called timeout. He said, Tommy, all I wanted you to do is rough him up. I didn't want you to put him in the hospital. So that's my first and last basketball story.
Okay, Tom.
Okay?
Football, I think, was his main sport, but Coach, what I have for you is a sign here these are starting to go up at all the entry points in the Kingsport city limits, so people will be no doubt that they live at the home of the state champs.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Tom. Now, I'll just like to give a real quick thank you to you guys as well, but Tommy, thank you. I know when I went to the press conference and was introduced, you were one of the first ones that was there. And I spoke to you there, and then you were one of the first ones that called me after we won. So I want to thank you for your support. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
I was the biggest cheerleader here, wasn't I?
I got you.
Mayor?
All right, next we have a proclamation by Vice Mayor George. This is to recognize Sexual Harassment Awareness Month.
I bet she knows more about it than anybody.
And you can come on up to the podium there, yep.
Thank you. I'm going to have Debbie Richmond with the Branch House Family Justice Center come up and join me. And this is going to actually surprise all the people that in public relations, because I'm actually going to read this proclamation. I know you guys are going to be freaked out, but this is, this is something really important and something we really need to be aware of. So whereas the city of Kingsport, Tennessee shares a critical concern for victims of sexual violence and a desire to support the needs for justice and healing, and whereas sexual assault affects women, children, and men of all racial, cultures, and economic backgrounds, and whereas in 2021, there were 29 reported sexual assaults in the city of Kingsport, and the Branch House Family Justice Center served the needs of 68 sexual assault victims in and around Sullivan County. Whereas sexual assault can be devastating not only for the survivor, but also for the family and loved ones of the survivor. And whereas Sexual Assault Awareness Month provides an opportunity to educate our community on what can be done to prevent sexual assault and how to support victims of sexual violence. Now, therefore, Patrick W. Shull, the mayor of the city of Kingsport, and on behalf of the board and mayor and alderman of the city of Kingsport, do proclaim April 2022 as Sexual Assault Awareness Month in Kingsport, and we join with communities across the country in standing with the survivors and the victims of sexual assault. And I'm going to let Debbie say a few words about what all they do and present you with this proclamation.
Thank you very much. Thank you all for allowing me to represent Branch House tonight and to represent victims of domestic violence, sexual assault, and homicide. At Branch House, we provide all of our services are free, and we provide many services, more than I could stand up here and talk to you about today. We have a forensic sexual assault examination room on site that operates 24/7. We have 2 ballot health nurses who are trained to perform sexual assault exams. I'm honored to live in a community that stands against sexual assault, domestic violence, and homicide. And it is a privilege to have leaders like you and live in a community where people care. So thank you all so much. You did this proclamation for victims last year, and we very much appreciate you all doing this for victims again this year.
Thank you, Debbie. And all your coworkers, what the great things you do at Branch House.
Thank you. I'll tell them.
Thank you.
All right, next we have a proclamation by Alderman Phillips recognizing National Therapy Animal Day, which is April 30th.
Here comes one of my buddies.
I have Gloria and Charger coming up. I'll let you guess which is which. I almost needed a therapy animal today. I had a real situation on the job site here with the finger, so good thing it's we're doing this proclamation today. So, whereas Pet Partners has designated April 30th as National Therapy Animal Day, and whereas Pet Partners therapy animal teams in the town of Kingsport play an essential role in improving human health and well-being through the human-animal bond, and whereas the animal-human therapy teams make millions of visits per year in settings such as hospitals, nursing homes, schools, and hospice, and whereas therapy animal teams interact with a variety of people in our community, including veterans, seniors, patients, students facing literacy challenges, and those approaching end of life. And whereas these exceptional therapy animals who partner with their human companions bring comfort and healing to those in need. And so now, therefore, Patrick W. Scholl, Mayor of the City of Kingsport, and on behalf of the Board of Mayor and Alderman of the City of Kingsport, do hereby proclaim April 30th, 2022 as National Therapy Animal Day in Kingsport and encourage our citizens to celebrate our therapy animals and their handlers. Further, I publicly salute the service of therapy animals and teams in our community and in communities across the nation. So thank you for what you do. As someone who's had people go through hospice, family members, I know it's very important to have those animals. It brings them a lot of comfort. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Looking forward to getting back out.
Please say anything. Comment there.
We're just looking forward to being able to get back out and doing visits back in hospitals and nursing homes and all that stuff, because we haven't been able to do that for the last couple of years. So it really does make a difference in the lives of those.
Do you have a target date for when you can go back?
I don't. The VA hospital, we're trying to set something up now. Some of the nursing homes and stuff in the area still have restrictions on allowing visitors in that don't have family members in the facility. So hopefully soon.
Okay, well, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate you.
Mr. City Manager.
All right, we'll move into the approval of minutes. We have the work session on April 7th, 2022, and the business meeting on April 8th, 2022. We'd ask that you approve these minutes as submitted, please.
Thank you. Do I have a motion to approve both sets of minutes?
So moved.
Moved by Alderman. Is there a second?
Second.
A second by Alderman Cooper. Any discussion? If not, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? They pass 7-0. Mr. City Manager.
We have no public hearings tonight, so we'll move into the comment section on agenda items.
Thank you. At this point in time, citizens can approach the board, come to the podium, and speak to items on the agenda. The agenda is provided out in the hallway right before you enter the door. You may speak on agenda items only. When you come to the podium, please state your name and address and sign the register that is provided. You're encouraged to keep your comments non-personal in nature, and they should be limited to 5 minutes. A total of 30 minutes is allocated for public comment during this part of the agenda. And let me add that there's, later on in our proceedings, there's a part where citizens can come forward and comment on items of general civic interest, but this is for agenda items. Are there any citizens that wish to come forward? If not, I declare this part of the meeting over, and Mr. City Manager, please proceed.
First item is consideration of a budget adjustment ordinance for various funds in fiscal '22. As you can see outlined within this, there are some items that you will actually take up as we move through this, particularly the item relating to a $250,000 grant for Petworks, and then also receiving money from the Bays Mountain Park Association. We ask that you approve this ordinance on first reading, please.
Thank you. Mr. Attorney, please publish.
An ordinance to amend various fund budgets for the year ending June 30, 2022, and to fix the effective date of this ordinance.
Thank you. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Moved by the Vice Mayor. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Alderman Duncan. Any discussion? If not, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? It passes 7-0. And I'll remind our citizens that the next ordinances that come up for a second reading will require a roll call vote on our part. Mr. City Manager.
All right, the next 5 items are coming to you for second and final reading. First item is consideration of an ordinance to amend the fiscal '22 general purpose school fund and the general project fund budgets.
Thank you, Mr. Attorney. Please publish.
An ordinance to amend the general purpose school fund and general project fund budgets for the fiscal year ending June 30, 2022, and to fix the effective date of this ordinance.
Thank you. Is there a motion to approve? So moved. Moved by Alderman Montgomery. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Alderman. Any discussion? If not, Madam Recorder, please take the vote.
Alderman Cooper.
Aye.
Alderman Duncan.
Aye.
Vice Mayor George.
Aye.
Alderman Montgomery.
Aye.
Alderman Alterman.
Aye.
Alderman Phillips.
Aye.
Mayor Schul.
Aye, it passes 7-0. Next item.
Next item is consideration of an ordinance authorizing the mayor to execute documents necessary to accept easements and rights-of-ways for which the board has adopted an approval of offer. We'd ask that you approve this on second and final reading, please.
Thank you. Mr. Attorney, please publish.
An ordinance authorizing the mayor to execute any and all documents necessary to accept easements and rights of way for which the Board of Mayor and Aldermen has adopted an approval of offer and to fix the effective date of this ordinance.
Thank you. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Moved by Alderman Duncan. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by the Vice Mayor. Is there any discussion? If not, please take the vote.
Alderman Cooper.
Aye.
Alderman Duncan.
Aye.
Vice Mayor George.
Aye.
Alderman Montgomery.
Aye.
Alderman Alterman.
Aye.
Alderman Phillips.
Aye.
Mayor Schul.
Aye, it passes 7-0. Let me pause briefly and remind our audience that if it seems like we go quickly through some of these items, it's because we've been through them one-on-one with the city manager, then all together, all 7 of us, at a work session after those one-on-one sessions. And we've discussed them fairly thoroughly, and we're pretty familiar with what we're voting. But there's always a possibility we may have further discussion. Please proceed, Mr. City Manager.
Next item is consideration of a budget adjustment ordinance for various funds in fiscal '22. We'd ask that you approve this ordinance on second and final reading, please.
Thank you. Mr. Attorney, please publish.
An ordinance to amend various fund budgets for the year ending June 30, 2022, and to fix the effective date of this ordinance.
Thank you. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Moved by Alderman. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Alderman Montgomery. Any discussion? If not, please take the vote.
Alderman Cooper.
Aye.
Alderman Duncan.
Aye.
Vice Mayor George.
Aye.
Alderman Montgomery.
Aye.
Alderman Alterman.
Aye for Carla and that other car I'm gonna pass.
Alderman Phillips.
Aye.
Mayor Schul.
Aye, I believe, let me clarify, that's a 7-0 vote for this particular item. All right, please proceed.
Next item is to enter into an amendment to the materials agreement with Carla Karst related to the Cox Valley development. We'd ask that you approve this ordinance on second and final reading.
Thank you. Mr. Attorney, please publish.
An ordinance to amend the water and sewer project funds by transferring funds to the Cox Valley Materials Agreement projects WA 2259 and SW 2259, and to fix the effective date of this ordinance.
Thank you. Is there a motion to approve? So moved. Moved by Alderman Montgomery. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Alderman. Didn't you say you wanted to abstain on this one?
I'm voting for everything now.
Oh, okay. Okay, so there's a proper motion and a second. It's on the floor. Is there any discussion?
I will abstain from this one.
Yes, ma'am. Any discussion?
I took it.
Okay. Okay, then if no discussion, then please take the vote.
Alderman Duncan.
Aye.
Vice Mayor George.
Aye.
Alderman Montgomery.
Aye.
Alderman Alterman.
Aye.
Alderman Phillips.
Aye.
Mayor Schul.
Aye, there's 6 positive votes and 1 abstention. Please proceed.
Next item is consideration of an ordinance amending the zoning code by removing color type restrictions from the decorative lighting ordinance, section 114-537. We'd ask that you approve this ordinance on second and final reading, please.
Thank you. Mr. Attorney, please publish.
An ordinance amending Chapter 114, Article 4, Section 537 of the Code of Ordinances, City of Kingsport, Tennessee, pertaining to decorative lighting, and to fix the effective date of this ordinance.
Thank you. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Moved by Alderman Phillips. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Alderman Cooper. Any discussion?
I appreciate Ken Williams and all the work that you did to get this.
Mr. City Manager, this will of course come up, I guess, around Christmas, but does it come up very often during the course of the regular year?
It has. I think the changes that you all approved tonight will probably reduce some of the calls that we get regarding questions on that. It's a little bit clearer and should remove most of the confusion that has existed with it.
Okay, good. Any more discussion or questions? Please take the vote.
Alderman Cooper.
Aye.
Alderman Duncan.
Aye.
Vice Mayor George.
Aye.
Alderman Montgomery.
Aye.
Alderman Olterman.
Aye.
Alderman Phillips.
Aye.
Mayor Schul.
Aye, it passes 7-0. Next item.
Next item is a resolution authorizing the city manager to execute a purchase order for one hazmat truck utilizing Sourcewell Cooperative Purchasing Agreement. This is a replacement vehicle. You see there that we are receiving about $167,000 from Sullivan County EMA towards the purchase of this vehicle, and we would ask that you approve this resolution authorizing this purchase, please.
Thank you. Mr. Attorney, please publish.
Resolution authorizing the city manager to execute a purchase order to emergency vehicle specialists utilizing Sourcewell Cooperative Purchasing Agreement number 022818 PMI for one hazardous materials response vehicle for the Kingsport Fire Department.
Thank you. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Moved by Alderman Duncan. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Alderman. Any discussion?
When we approve this, how long does it take to actually get this vehicle? Scott, I know it takes a while to get them done, but what are you looking at to actually get it in?
Our Fire Chief Scott Boyd is coming to the podium. Go ahead, Chief.
Typically, any of the vehicles we're purchasing now, we plan on a year out on those now. Some of the ladder trucks, things of the engines, they're saying 18 months on those, but should be sometime next year about this time for this particular unit to be in service.
And the one we have is fine until we get this one.
It is. It's 22 years old currently, but it will definitely make it another year.
Thank you.
Yes.
And again, this will be the only vehicle of its type in a several county area around us.
Yes, sir. It is the vehicle, and I may add to the fact that the county does put money in on this. We've had an agreement with them since the 80s that we
Good.
provide hazmat service throughout the county, and they've designated us as the hazmat response team for the entire county, as well as one of the primaries for the 8-county region we provide for as well.
For our citizens, I always think, Chief, that there's somebody just moved here. For our citizens, our both police and fire department have reciprocal agreements with similar agencies within our region, and they tend to work very well. A lot of regional cooperation in that,
Yes, sir.
in that regard.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Any further discussion? If not, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye. Thank you, Chief.
Aye.
Any opposed? It passes 7-0. Please proceed.
Next item is to approve a $250,000 matching funds to Petworks Animal Services, Inc. for their new facility capital campaign. As you all are well aware, the Petworks building located off of Stone Drive was completed in the fall of 2020 for almost $4 million. They successfully raised $2.7 million. They're $1.3 million short. Our goal with this is that our $250,000 can be matched dollar for dollar by private organizations or citizens throughout not only Kingsport, but all of Sullivan County and throughout the region as well. So we'd ask that you approve this resolution authorizing this grant.
And let me say, we very much appreciate the fact that Mr. Jim and his wife Laura Rogers donated $1 million to this facility, as well as $250,000, John, from
Mitch Walters.
Mitch Walters. That's what happens when you get to be my age, John. Mr. Mitch Walters donated $250,000 toward the dog park right behind the facility, which, by the way, anyone can use the dog park. It's great addition to the Animal Service Center. With that, Mr. Attorney, please publish.
A resolution approving an agreement with Petworks Animal Services, Inc. to provide matching funds for the building capital campaign and authorizing the mayor to execute the agreement and all other documents necessary and proper to effectuate the purpose of the agreement.
Thank you. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Moved by the vice mayor. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Alderman Cooper. Any discussion?
Is there a time frame on this match, or do they already have these donations in hand?
I'm not sure if they have the donations in hand at this time. John, you might, I think they were kind of looking for us to make the contribution, and then they were going to go out and begin to try to work that. Kind of the critical timeline is between now and June. Whatever is left on the note in June will be rolled over into a loan. And so the goal is to try to whittle that down as much as we possibly can between now and June. If they're unable to completely reduce that and eliminate that, my guess is over the course of the next year, this will continue to be a focus for that group.
But in terms of where we're putting this up as a dollar-for-dollar match, this goes, there isn't a time limit for them to reach this 250,000? Because a lot of times, sometimes we say within a year or
Right.
within two. I just didn't see
There's
that
not.
in here.
Yeah.
I mean, I know the assumption is that this is going to be a quick match, but I didn't know if there was
Correct.
anything that gave a specific time.
No, there's not. There is, Mike? 1 year, thank you.
Thank you, I didn't see that, so I appreciate it, so.
Okay. Thank you for that inquiry. Any further discussion or questions, board? Well, it's on the floor. All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? It passes 7-0. Please proceed.
Next item is a resolution to approve a $150,000 donation of visitor enhancement funds to the Netherland Inn Exchange Place Association for repairs to and maintenance of the facilities. Visitor enhancement funds is a portion of the hotel motel tax that the city of Kingsport receives. We use those dollars almost in the entirety towards capital projects that promote tourism within the city of Kingsport. So they've gone to things such as the Aquatic Center, Bays Mountain, wayfinding signs on our green belt, wayfinding signs throughout our city. And so they've also in the past gone to Netherland Inn and Exchange Place. And so this, through your approval, will provide $75,000 in fiscal year '22, as well as $75,000 in fiscal '23. And this will go to both facilities to do some much-needed improvement that they have there.
Well, while I got you here talking, explain to our citizens, tell them a little bit about our hotel motel tax.
So hotel motel tax comes into the city of Kingsport. We passed the overwhelming majority of that on to the Kingsport Convention and Visitors Bureau, or Visit Kingsport. So your lodging tax that visitors pay when they visit our city, we're able to recoup that. As many cities do across the state, it typically goes back to fund tourism-related activities, and that's what we're able to do. We're one of the few cities that passes the amount that we do along. I think, John, was it 87% that we pass through? 87%, yeah, 87.5 that we pass through.
That's right.
And so some cities do not pass as much along, but we have a great group of folks over there that do a lot to promote our city through a multitude of activities, not just through the work that we do with our historical sites, but also through, tournaments, basketball, baseball, festivals, concerts, road races, a series of things. And so it's money well spent.
And what's the percent on the bill for the individual?
We're at 7%.
7%. And that's comparable across the state? A little more in Nashville?
It's comparable. I mean, I think, you see in some of your larger metro areas that could creep up to as much as 10%, but anywhere from 5 to 8% is kind of the norm in Northeast Tennessee.
Okay, very good. Mr. Attorney, please publish.
A resolution approving an agreement with the Netherland Inn Exchange Place Association, Inc. for a donation of visitor enhancement funds for repairs to and maintenance of the facilities, and authorizing the mayor to execute the agreement and all their documents necessary and proper to effectuate the purpose of the agreement.
Thank you. Is there a motion to approve?
So move.
Moved by Alderman Montgomery, seconded by the Vice Mayor. Is there any discussion?
Is that 150,000, is that the, I mean, how much do we have in that fund? Does that wipe it out kind of for the next couple of years, or?
We have, so what we're doing is, in order to have enough funds, 75,000 comes out this year, 75,000 comes out next year. The 75,000 will pretty well take that fund down to zero this year. Yeah. So on average, we're around, probably $400-some thousand that we're able to put those dollars towards.
And the Exchange Place has a fair coming up soon. Gee, I don't remember the exact date. Probably somebody's got that handy. I don't.
I think it's this weekend.
No,
There's something going on there this weekend. I'm not
is
sure.
there? Okay, let's see. We had a motion and a second, and any further discussion? If not, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? It passes 7-0. Mr. C. Mander.
All right, we now move into the consent agenda. We have 9 items on the agenda. I will read through each one of those. If you would like one or more pulled for additional discussion, please let me know. First item is a resolution awarding the bid of school nutrition services commodity processing for eggs to Michael Foods, Inc., and authorizing the city manager to execute an agreement with Michael Foods, Inc. Next item is a resolution awarding the bid for school nutrition services chemicals to Summers Industrial and authorizing the mayor to execute an agreement with Summers Industrial. Third item is a resolution approving an application and contract with the Virginia Department of Rail and Public Transportation for Federal Transit Administration, Section 5303 planning funds. Fourth item is a resolution renewing the award of the bid for propane and propane conversion kits. Fifth item is a resolution to accept a donation from the Bays Mountain Park Association for various projects at Bays Mountain Park. Item number 6, the resolution to ratify the mayor's signature on a Walters State Community College Facilities Use Agreement. Item 7 is a resolution renewing the proposal for the concession food service distributor at the Kingsport Aquatic Center to H.T. Hackney Company. Item number 8 is to approve the non-renewal of the agreement with B&E Inc., doing business as Tri-State Claims, the city's third-party administrator for its workers' compensation program. And item 9 is to approve a permit for a carnival to operate temporarily at 4540 University Boulevard. We'd ask that you approve these 9 items as presented, unless there is one that you would like pulled for additional information.
Thank you. Board, are there any members that wish to have any of the items considered separately? If not, is there a motion to approve all items as presented?
I make a motion that we approve all 9 items on the consent agenda as presented.
Thank you. It was moved by the Vice Mayor. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Alderman Phillips. Any discussion? I would add that the board is extremely grateful for the citizens that donated to the Bays Mountain Park Association and then to the association for further donating the funds to the park itself. That is very generous. It's over $800,000. Any further discussion? Madam Recorder, please take the vote.
Alderman Cooper.
Aye to all.
Alderman Duncan.
Aye to all.
Vice Mayor George.
Aye to all.
Alderman Montgomery.
Aye to all.
Alderman Alterman.
Aye to all.
Alderman Phillips.
Aye to all.
Mayor Scholl.
Aye, all items. Therefore, all items pass 7-0. Mr. C. Manager.
All right, we now move into the communication section of the agenda. There's 3 items here. First, if you haven't visited Brickyard Park and the Miracle Field, I encourage you to do so. Also encourage you, if you know folks who are interested in participating in the Miracle League, that starts this Saturday, 10 o'clock. If you haven't registered, don't worry, just show up out there at the site, and they will get you signed up. Quite a jewel for our city and for our region as well.
And the Miracle League applies to differently abled children and wounded warriors and so forth.
Correct. Correct.
Please go ahead.
Second item I have is this Saturday, there will be a day of service at Warriors Pass State Park from 8:30 in the morning to 1 o'clock. It's great, another great asset that we're fortunate enough to have here at our city. A lot of work taking place out there, a lot of improvements being made to the park, which we're very grateful for. As you all recall, about a year or two ago, I guess, we participated in that with upgrading of water lines so that the marina could be rebuilt. So a good opportunity to give back and do some work out there. And the last thing I have is we kind of conclude our meetings in April and we begin to move into May. May is budget month for the city of Kingsport. I appreciate the work that you all are going to have to put in as we move into May. In addition to the 4 meetings that we have with the work session and business meeting, we'll also be having additional meetings as we talk about the general fund budget, school budget, and our enterprise funds. And so every year, every budget is a tough budget. This budget is no different. You saw in your items tonight, one of your budget adjustments was to move some money around in the fleet department as we see higher prices, higher expenses for items. As citizens, we definitely see that as a city as well. So increased vehicles, increased fuel, various other things factor into a lot of difficult decisions we have to make with the budget. Appreciate all the support that we get from the board. Appreciate the work that staff is doing. I see John Morris back there. He has a lot of long days ahead of him as he
Our
does.
city budget officer, Mr. Morris.
So, but appreciate the work they're doing, and we'll be bringing this to you guys first look on May 9th. That's all I have.
Okay, I don't think you'll have any trouble keeping us awake for that meeting.
No.
Okay, Alderman Duncan.
Just got a couple items. Keep Kingsport Beautiful has had 3 successful cleanup opportunities this year so far. We've accumulated 9.5 tons of trash and another 1.5 tons of garbage that's been picked up as well. So it's been very successful. You'd hate to think that success is picking it up that much, but it's kind of, you have to have some measuring tool, I guess. I will say, we were talking today in a meeting that what we're seeing is when you hit like downtown or different areas over and over, you do see less and less and less. So that certainly is a good thing. Also, during that time, we've had separate cleanups on the Greenbelt. It's been focused, especially we've got a road race down there for racks that's coming up. And so that 9.5 tons doesn't include 7 truckloads of debris and different things have been picked up down there as well. So this weekend is another cleanup. It's at Netherland Inn. It's at the trailhead starting at the river in that area down there.
Off the Greenbelt then?
Right, off the Greenbelt. And that's from 10 to 12. So if anybody's interested in that, just have to show up and certainly appreciate it. Also, Sharon and I are co-chairs this year for the Boys Club and Girls Club Gala. And that's coming up May the 7th at 6 o'clock. And it's always a fun event. And this year will be no different. The theme is Old Hollywood, so you can dress up and some of your old Hollywood characters, or at least in the 1950s there anyway, or something like that. So if you need gala tickets, just let me know. I'll be sure to make sure that you get them. And you could also walk out there with a brand new Porsche SUV Macan. So
The 7th of May, down for the 21st.
that's the 7th.
7th.
And that's it, Mayor. Thank you.
That it. And thank you for your personal involvement in the cleanups.
Thank you.
Miss Betsy?
I put a plug in for our library downtown, and several Sundays ago, my daughter had emergency appendectomy on a Sunday morning, so I ended up at the hospital sitting for several hours without anything to do. So I had downloaded the Hoopla app on my phone from the library, and so I was able to pull up a book and read a book during the time that I'd left without anything in my hand to do. So as a matter of fact, I've read all my 4 books that was allowed for April, so I'm waiting for May to start so I can start downloading more books from the Hoopla app from the library. It's really neat. There's movies, there's music, there's books, and you can download them and then pull them up without Wi-Fi. So I talked about that app several times and downloaded it, but never had used it until just recently. So it came in very handy. Our library has, if you go to the website, there's something for everyone. There's a Let's Get Moving for every Tuesday in April and May. I know April through October, I think they meet every Tuesday at 7:30 in the morning just for a walk. So not only do they have reading and gaming and crafts, they also have things to keep you in shape. So I think there's a Mother's Day card make and take. James needs to get that date of that one because I think he takes his little girl every time they have a make and take card at the library. So, and there's also STEM classes, there's job resources, there's genealogy research. So if you have anything that you want to know, you can go to the library because if they don't have the answer there, they can send you in the direction that you need. So, and like I said, the Hoopla app, I encourage everyone to download it on your phone because you don't know when you might need it.
And I will say, we had a new family moving into this area, and when they were down here looking, they went up to Bays Mountain. They've already got on the website so they could send their daughter to the Bays Mountain camp and get signed up. They came down the last time they were in town, because they have not been able to actually move down here yet, went over to the library, and they said, you all have no idea how fortunate you are and all the things you have available. They could not get over the opportunities for their daughter at the library. And also said, I mean, they said, we've already got our membership to Bays Mountain, we've already got her signed up for the camp, and he said, now we found the library. He said, you all just don't know how good you have it.
If you pull up just like the calendar for April, there's something every day for all age groups. Like there's toddler time, there's gaming, there's something for every age group and every interest. So I agree.
So be sure to tell new people with children when if you see them, because we have so many new people, because I said.
Nap time for Tommy and me. Okay, thank you. Betsy, is that it? That's it. Okay, Paul?
James has turned his back on me, so I can't see his paper today. But I want to add my congratulations to the wrestling team as well as the coaches and players there. Also to Coach Poore and the basketball 21-22 basketball state champions 4A. And he did not do it tonight, but each time he's spoken locally, he talks about each player had to give up something to make it work. And that should be a lesson to all of us. Sometimes we have to be selfless, sit back and for the good of the team can win. So we can see, we have a demonstration project here with the basketball team. Also the prayer tonight, the minister talking about for the good of the citizens. So he was commending us for the good of the citizens. So I think that was a lesson for me that we all can gain from. And lastly, it was saddened that we lost a great business leader yesterday, a philanthropist in our area, Bill Gatton. Yeah. And I'm sure you join me in condolences to the family.
Yes, he was very generous, yes. Not just his alma mater, right. University of Kentucky,
right. To the region.
But other
to the region.
Schools here. And the pastor was Pastor Love from Mayfair Methodist. He also runs the roster of the pastors showing up to do the invocation.
Okay,
so
good.
We appreciate that he does that duty. Is that it, Paul?
That's it.
Thank you. James?
Not much, just Betsy mentioned Mother's Day. Crystal's birthday is May 5th, and Mother's Day is May 7th, so I'm getting hammered this year.
Okay, but go for it.
I got 1 day break in between, but just want to mention the Leadership Kingsport class is winding down. I'm proud of Crystal for doing it this year, and they end it, their last big thing is the Walk for Wellness that Paul mentioned last meeting we had, but April 23rd, so this Saturday. Down on the Greenbelt.
It's at Lynn Garden, isn't it?
Is it? Yeah, it is at Lynn Garden. It was on the Greenbelt before, but yeah, it's at Lynn Garden
at the Linview Community Center.
Community Center. Yep, and they
at 11.
Yep, it starts at 11, and I won't be there because it's picture day for soccer. So this will. I'm having to do Landry's ponytail, so this will be one of those pictures that makes the yearbook because it's going to be bad. Okay. But last thing I want to mention is everybody knows that I build, and I'm building some apartments right now, and I just cannot express how wonderful it is to work with our Public Works Department. I and Ryan's not here tonight, but I just hope that, I'll call him and tell him, but just from the water and sewer, just the people that are out there hooking up my sewer today are just the absolute gem. I mean, they're incredible. They're so kind and so easy to work with, and we're very fortunate to have people like that. And it's from the top down when I call and I need something or I need an explanation. It's the service. You can tell that our city puts customer service first, and because they don't know that I'm on the board of mayor and alderman when I call, and they just I just was sitting back today, and I just was very appreciative of all they were doing.
You're still the president of the local home builders association?
Still am.
I presume the other builders feel the way you do.
Yeah, I get tons of compliments on not just our public works, but on Ken and planning and our building department, Keith at our building department. We just recently had a roundtable with them just to see how things were going, and just overwhelmingly positive response. People loved, Colette and Darrell will tell you, people love building in Kingsport. And they love, doing business for the most part with the city as well, because I think we make it easy. That's it. That's it.
Thank you. Tommy?
I don't have much tonight other than I'd just like to commend our city manager and his staff. They do an excellent job, because I've had to call several constituents out there, and they've been Johnny on the spot with giving me the answers and stuff, so I don't feel like I'm as ignorant as I appear. So I would just like to say thank you on behalf of the citizens of Kingsport. What an outstanding job that they do.
Good. Tommy, the baseball team's ranked 7th, I believe, in the state.
Yeah, I know it. And I hadn't had the opportunity to go. My legs don't seem to want to work like they should. But they are. They're playing hard and playing good.
Yeah, and the track team does pretty well, too. So, thank you. Ms. Vice Mayor?
Well, I'm going to mention the county election, which the election is actually on May 3rd. But early voting starts this Thursday at the Civic Auditorium. And these are county elections, but all of us that live in the city also live in the county. And these elections are extremely important because a lot of things in the county control what happens in the city, including the funding for our schools, whether or not they put any money toward Petworks, which is our animal shelter, if they are sharing money in terms with the police or the fire truck rotation. We don't with the police, but the fire truck. A lot of the decisions made at the county do affect where we are with funding in the city. All of us pay more in county taxes than we do in city taxes. And it's the county commission, your commissioners are who vote on the level of debt, what projects are funded. It's the county commissioners that set the tax rate for the county and do the tax increases. The mayor does not set the tax rate, does not do the increases for a tax raise, or does not determine the debt level or what debt is approved. That's done by your county commissioners. There are 11 different districts, and Kingsport is represented by a number of the county commissioners. Most of the districts are not city districts only. They're a mixture of city and county or non-city residents, incorporated and non-incorporated. So it's very important that you find out who is running, where they stand on the issues that truly affect the services we have in inside the city. And early voting starts here. It's going to be Thursday, Friday, Saturday here, and Monday through Thursday of next week. The election is May 3rd. This is for the primary, but almost every seat is decided on this election. There are very few that will be decided in August. So this is the major race. So this is when we need everyone to, to find out who stands for what, where everything is, and please go out and vote for your county commissioners, your county representatives, and your county mayor. There are a number of people running on different seats. You can call them out and ask them how they feel on certain issues. But it does make a difference. And a lot of people in the county and that are also in the city think, well, we have city services, so it doesn't matter. It really matters when it comes to things like school funding. So please take this election very serious. Look at who's running. Find out the truth about what people are stating and what they stand for. And please vote. You know, every election, people always ask, if you're a candidate, which I'm not this time, they always say, what are you going to do to get people to vote? I don't know what else to do to get people to vote. I mean, I think, you know, we've got early voting. We all encourage everybody to go out. We've done everything we can to get people to vote, but please realize that this is very important, and you need to know who your representatives are. And every county commission seat turns over every 4 years. So every single person on the county commission, there's 24 commissioners, every single one of those is up for election. So please look at who's in your district. Please vote. Thank you.
Is that it?
That was long enough.
Okay, that's well stated. Well, it is absolute pleasure for the board to recognize both the wrestlers and the basketball team. I'd like to point out that we're proud of our school system in general. I mean, two of our members here, Paul Montgomery and Betsy Cooper, served previously on the school board, and so we try our best as the BMA to be supportive of the school system, and we have great athletic teams, and we've always been behind them. It's just Kingsport tradition. But they also have a fabulous band. They have an outstanding junior ROTC program. The academics rate among the very best in the state, and that's for students that are either headed on to college or to the work world. The CTE, career technical education, is just superb also. So we appreciate what our school board and our teachers and staff do to maintain this high ranking and quality education. Other than that, I would just say that the city manager already spoke to inflation. It's not something that obviously we caused. We're dealing with it, and but just like all the citizens are. But I think my friend and colleague here, James Phillips, today says he thinks we're still maintaining good momentum, and all the football coaches tell you got to have momentum, right, James? Miami or other. But well, anyway, we've come to that part where citizens may speak on issue-oriented items. When you come to the podium, please state your name and address and sign the register that is provided. You're encouraged to keep your comments non-personal in nature, and they should be limited to 5 minutes. Are there any citizens that wish to come forward to speak on items of, come on up, thank you. And we know you, but please state your name for the public and sign in. The reason we ask folks to sign in is that they may bring something to our attention that we've never heard before, and we like to have the ability to follow up with them with their phone number and address.
Well, and it's also a nice verification, you know, okay, I am who I say I am, and I am a city resident.
State for the record.
Okay. I am Dr. David Fagerberg. I live on Cimarron Drive. Lived there since 1971, so that's more time than some of you have been on this earth, which is okay. I'm still vertical. I'd like to make a suggestion that the ARPA funds that I think have been allocated to the city, those I think could be very well used for some additional public restrooms. I've talked to some of you individually about that. It's obvious that we have some problems that we just really don't want to have. We don't need to have people relieving themselves in front of businesses and stuff like that. We've had that recently happen at Kitchen of Hope. It's the kind of thing where you go, really? However, on the other hand, I understand where it's coming from. You got to have, your bodily functions don't quit just because you're homeless, okay? I mean, it's as simple as that. Vice Mayor George asked a question last time I brought this up about whether the Kingsport Homeless Ministry is going to have their restrooms be public or not. There's actually some degree of debate about that on the board, but it's leaning toward opening up. That will help. It will not solve the whole problem. We don't want to have people, business owners or visitors, having the situation of having to clean up messes. It just is not right. One of the places that I would suggest, which is near the George Washington Apartments, there's a little park. There's a lot of people that gather at that place. And there's water and sewer services running right down the street because there are houses across the street from that little park. That would help reduce the overall cost. And I'd like to suggest that that is a very start. We probably could use a couple of other locations. I view it as something that, besides sanitation, it's the thing of presenting the image to people. We want to be the, if you will, the anti-San Francisco, if I can use that as an example. We don't ever want to be in that situation where we have to have phone apps that say, here's where you can walk safely and not encounter stuff you don't want to encounter. So that's my suggestion.
Okay, thank you. Are there any other citizens that wish to approach the board? If not, we're adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you for joining us tonight for the Kingsport BMA meeting. This program has been a production of the City of Kingsport in cooperation with Milligan Productions, Milligan University, and Charter Communications. For more information, visit kingsporttn.gov.